today we're going to make one of these. One of our little, we would call
cook stove.
Cook stove. Survival cook stove. With a little hot plate on top. You got your little vents right here. Your little legs. A common cook stove. Very common. But we're going to put our own twist on it. This would be a very small hot plate. So instead, we're going to use a hot plate, about this size. Instead of using a normal can such as that, we're going to use a much larger can such as the coffee can. It doesn't really have to be pretty, unless you're OCD, which I am. So, we'll start by we're going to have to take this end off.
So what do you got there? Is that a can opener?
Yep.
Just a regular can opener.
Pair of scissors.
Those are meat shears though, right?
Yeah.
Meat scissors.
Yeah, meat shearing scissors with sharp scissors. And the bottle cap opener.
So that's pretty much all you'd need, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what you need.
Just a can opener, really sharp knife or scissors, and a bottle top opener.
A fairly good one, if that would be most helpful in a situation such as this.
Now let's see, that is the top where you had a plastic lid, right? But you're going ahead and
we're going to trim that off.
Trimming that off, okay.
That way that won't be in our way as we're going to make the legs.
Okay, like on that one.
It is on the bottoms of that one. It's just going to be a larger version of that one. And we might do the vent a little differently.
So first you just have to get that off, right?
Yep. Which
is it pain in the
can
butt?
Opener is spinning wheels.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's cooperating with you at all.
No. So.
That's not working.
No. Doesn't seem to be working, does it?
You could flip it the other way and open it like a can from the top, could you not? If you did it from the inside.
Yeah, but this was big. I gotta do the same thing on this side. Just hoping it would have worked a little easier. Might have to use a knife if we keep spinning wheels.
Yeah, the coffee can's a little trickier to work with.
Yeah, a little trickier. It's really easy to get caught up.
There you go.
It's like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect.
It just has to work.
It just has to work. That's right.
At least half-ass. Then you would carefully pull that back. So
yeah, with a glove on, by the way, because you
probably want like a glove or something.
Glove on your hand or anything of that nature. Because it would be very, very sharp.
Yeah, if you got your jagged edges, which you're going to have with like any kind of can thing. So you got to be really careful with those jagged edges.
This is all jagged edges now. There's nothing safe about it.
Split stuff really easy. Now he's going to take the top off.
On the other side, probably want someone with an extra hand to help you with this instead of doing this with your leg, because you wouldn't really want to cut your leg.
Right. Well, it's as a survival tool too. If you find like a pronged forked stick, like you would use to pin down a snake's head, you find a big enough one, you can pin the can down.
Pin the can
and
down.
It'll still turn and work with you.
Yeah.
I know. I've had to do that before. So if you don't have the extra hand, you can always find stuff right there in nature that you can.
Or if you don't mind practicing your first aid, you can do it how I do it.
If you have your first aid nearby.
Yep.
Do it Chris way.
That's right. Okay, so here we are pretty much set. I'm going to choose
the less jagged side.
whichever top that I'm going to want it to be. I think it's going to be this right here, to be exact.
Well,
The
it's
bottom
one's
one.
less jagged too, right?
Yes, that's jagged.
You want the
and
less jagged side on
I'll
top.
let the bottom one be the legs. So basically, we're going to try to make an inside, or we're going to try to make legs to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut into it. And then, let's go a little further over there. Just like that, just like so.
But how far do you think you're cutting? Like about 2 inches?
Well, first thing I'm going to cut them into 4s, and then I'm
Okay.
going to cut them into 8s.
Ah, I got you. Okay.
And the 4 is going to be the legs, and
Right.
then the other 4 will be the inside. It's
Gotcha.
going to hold up all of your charcoal or sticks or whatever you choose to burn in your oven, your cooker. I still like to call it the homeless cooker, but I think they're awesome, especially in an ice storm.
Yeah, but that comes in handy.
A lot of people had a lot of problems during the ice storms. They tried using grills in their house and other things when there's much simpler methods.
Yeah, I heard of like 3-4 different households where people died of carbon monoxide because they had generators run by gasoline and they had them inside the house and they didn't have any ventilation. So they stayed nice and warm and went to bed and didn't wake up.
Very sad.
Yeah. 'Cause it's really, yeah, that was sad because it was like entire families wiped out because the people lacked the common sense that, hey, you know, this would be like trapping yourself in a garage with a running car.
I do like the coffee can for the fact of it having a bigger hot plate.
Yeah, something
big
like the
guy.
smaller one, you'd like use that to like maybe heat another can, like set a can on top of it of beans, of soup or something,
Oh, yeah,
and
you
heat
can
it up.
Set a nice can of beans there, but I don't exactly know what you would cook your fish on, or maybe
Yeah, that one's a little
squirrel.
small for stuff like that.
So
That's why we are going with a coffee can.
we'll see how I'm doing on my links. I don't think I'm doing too bad.
So
Do every second one, try to fold them together there.
you're just going to push down every other one, right?
Yeah, just for starters, just to see, because I have a different method. Everybody has a different method on the bottoms,
Mhm.
on the legs part,
Yeah, I know like at least 3-4 different ways to do the bottom.
and I always do it the lazy way. I call it the lazy way. It's called I might be able to make this work way, or I might not. Judging by the length of everything, just to give it something to hold. That way you have enough to hold in there.
No, and that too, you don't really have to worry about it. You can even build your
The fire
fire
underneath it, yeah.
it. You know, build your fire and then push those prongs up out of the way and just stand it over your little fire.
So, yeah, usually I try to make a little bit of something right there, because later on,
Like a
if you
grill,
have another
for a
lid,
grill.
you can put another lid in for it. It could be a grate, so to speak, on the bottom, and we're a way for the fire and the ash to drip out.
Right,
You
and then you
keep
have
it
your
heat.
legs.
This way to keep your logs in, and you have your legs, and we're just going to bend those out. That way to make it nice and sturdy. Some legs are going to be a little shrimpier than others. Like
Right.
that leg there.
Like you said, it's not
Nothing perfect.
it's not going up for an art prize or anything.
No, just all about the cooking.
Mhm.
Make sure it's good level.
As long as it'll cook food.
And then the hot plate goes on the top. So now we got the legs and the hot plate. And here's the experimental part. This one comes with a vent you can open and close.
Very carefully.
Somehow to hopefully keep the fire going or some other fire out. If your fire gets too hot cooking, keep the temperature of what you're cooking. And what I'm considering on doing is just doing something a little simpler and probably more lazier. Is to actually tack in
Some holes.
some holes to make the ventilation, if possible.
See, that probably would have worked better if we'd have waited. If you'd have done that first.
Yeah, all probably, most definitely, I'm sure of it. It appears.
I mean, it looks like you can still do it. It's just going to be a little more of a pain in the ass for you.
A little bit.
And then again, you watch out for all those little
See if I can-
prickles. I would just do one row.
One row?
Just a row. And
Across the top?
Yep.
Or, yeah? Alright, we'll space them out a little bit.
because that'll allow air to come up from under and still be able to vent out, so you won't smother.
And I
out
can
your
just
fire.
bend those back. That's not a problem. So we'll do one like that, and that way it won't be too hot on the hot plate, and they'll still get air.
Right. Yeah, you have to have some ventilation at the top for it to come through.
Yep, that was my thinking. So everybody's got their own ways and methods. One can do it a
So,
certain way, another one
Let's
can
see
do it
how
another way.
that looks.
So far, we got 3 of them going. It's not looking too bad.
Okay, yep. I see ya. Ventilation.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So I'm just going ahead and going around with it.
And with that, you're just using a bottle opener. The
Yep.
old-fashioned bottle opener, can opener thing.
Yep. And I'll have to bend these back. I'll get a pair of pliers or take a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, it's
set
always
with a pair
good
of
to have a
pliers,
pair of pliers, needle nose pliers with you.
bend those back, and this will be all set to use. I like using these for the fact that you can find cans like this anywhere. You can go out to certain hunting sites where they just left cans that have been there and could reuse them. Make great multi-purposes. Heat up water for a nice hot sponge in case you need a bath. I think of many good reasons. Now another cool thing about this is it's created these lips on the inside, the vents. Popping those vents kind of brought these out, but it created these lips. That way I don't have to worry about my hot plate
Falling down in there, yep.
So now, if it falls down in there, it's going to sit right on top of the hot plate. And it's perfect.
Yes, it is.
And there we are. We have our survival stove
Woohoo!
all ready and set to go. And a nice
Mini,
mini stove to go with.
right?
Like I say, we fixed our beans here, and then we fixed our fish over here. There's no problems. And I guess that's urban survival.
Let's see. With those, would you do you want to tell how you would do the fire, and maybe about how big, or will we be showing that
Yeah,
later on in the week?
We can show that on the Urban Survival Show.
Okay.
Later on this week, we'll be having a couple Urban Survival shows, and we'll show you exactly how to light these.
We will actually be using them to cook. So now you've seen how to make them. Then we can this weekend we'll show you how well they work, and I guess signing out for Urban Survival.
Yep, signing up for Urban Survival. I'm Chris Berry.
I'm Survival Girl.
And Survival Girl. We'll introduce Survival Girl later on.
She's in her jammies right now, so she's not going on camera.
Okay.